At the beginning of 2023, all of Asia was shaken by the news that famous Hong Kong model Abby Choi, Tai Tien Fong, had been brutally murdered and dismembered. The case was not only shocking because of its savagery, but also due to details that seemed to come straight out of a crime novel. The perpetrators were people who had once been very close to her, bound by blood and marriage. The incident stirred public outrage and exposed the dark underbelly behind the luxurious, glamorous lives of the ultra-wealthy. Abby Choi, born in 1994, was a well-known model in Hong Kong and mainland China. She not only impressed with her delicate appearance, but was also known as a successful, stylish woman with a distinctive fashion sense. Abby had appeared on the cover of L'Officiel Monaco and was a familiar face at international fashion events. Beyond her career, she had an enviable personal life with 2 marriages. Notably, she maintained a good relationship with her ex-husband's family after their divorce. However, behind that glamorous facade were long, simmering underlying conflicts, seeds that eventually led to a horrifying tragedy. On February 21, 2023, Abby Choi suddenly went missing. Her family and friends were unable to contact her. After several days of investigation, Hong Kong police began tracing her whereabouts using GPS data from her car, a car that had been driven by her ex-husband's brother on the day she disappeared. Based on the signal, police were led to a rented house in Long Mae Tsuen village on the outskirts of Tai Po. There, they uncovered a horrifying scene. Dismembered body parts were found in a freezer and a pot of soup. The head, torso, and limbs had been separated, and some body parts were still missing at that time. The house was even equipped with tools such as a chainsaw, freezer, large plastic bags, and butcher knives, indicating that this was not a spontaneous crime, but a meticulously planned murder. Within just a few days, the police arrested 4 main suspects: Abby's ex-husband, Alex Kwong, his parents, and his brother. All were charged with murder and attempting to conceal the victim's body. Alex Kwong was the former spouse of Abby Choi. Even after their divorce, Abby continued to provide financial support, even purchasing real estate in her name so that her ex-husband's family would have a place to live. Notably, Alex's father, a former police officer, was suspected of being the main architect behind this brutal murder. Additionally, a woman, Alex's father's new girlfriend, was also accused of aiding and helping arrange the rental house where the crime took place. The underlying cause of the case is believed to stem from financial conflicts. Abby owned significant wealth, including several valuable properties. Some of these properties were registered in her name to help her ex-husband's family after their divorce. However, when Abby decided to sell these assets and cut off financial support, her ex-husband's family began to take hostile actions. Investigative sources revealed that her ex-father-in-law, a former police officer who was well-versed in the legal system, had carefully planned the murder of Abby and the disposal of her body to cover up the crime. The rented house in Tai Po had been secured in advance, cleaned thoroughly, and prepared with murder tools over the course of several weeks. On the day of the murder, Abby was lured into her ex-husband's car under the pretext of picking up the child. On the way, she was knocked unconscious. She was then taken to the house in Tai Po, where she was killed, dismembered, and her body disposed of. The police later discovered that her ID card, handbag, and phone had been destroyed to erase any evidence. The autopsy results revealed that Abby died from blunt force trauma to the head. This was consistent with the initial testimony of one of the suspects. From the moment Abby Choi was reported missing on February 21, 2023, the Hong Kong police did not treat it as a typical case. Sensing something amiss from the victim's background and profile, a famous person with a complex financial situation, they immediately launched a thorough investigation. This was the first step in what would be regarded as an exemplary case-solving journey. The most crucial lead came from the GPS data of the car used to pick up Abby. The car, driven by her ex-husband's brother, had traveled to the Taipo area, a place not on her usual route. This anomaly was the starting point for the police to identify the rented house in Lung Mae Tsuen village as the primary crime scene. Upon searching the house, the police immediately discovered several horrific items: butcher knives, a chainsaw, industrial garbage bags, a freezer, and a large pot simmering with body parts. These tools indicated that the perpetrators had carefully planned the murder, not as a spur-of-the-moment act, but as part of a calculated and organized plan. Traffic and area surveillance cameras continued to play an essential role. The police collected footage showing the suspect driving Abby to the house, followed by multiple trips in and out, carrying boxes and burlap sacks, matching the estimated time frame when the victim was believed to have been murdered. Another crucial piece that helped the police uncover the truth was the irregularities in the financial transactions. Abby had registered properties in her name to help her ex-husband's family, and when she intended to sell them to sever ties, mysterious transactions began to appear. Additionally, Alex Kwon, the ex-husband, was found attempting to flee Hong Kong by sea. He was arrested at the ferry terminal while carrying cash and fake documents. During the interrogation, the suspect's conflicting statements began to emerge. The police's investigative techniques, including psychological analysis and the divide and question strategy, proved highly effective. Each person provided a different excuse, inadvertently implicating one another. Notably, Abby's ex-father-in-law, a former police officer, was the mastermind behind everything, but he couldn't hide his blatant and calculating behavior in his testimony, which further raised suspicions and pushed authorities to gather stronger evidence. The case file was completed with support from the forensic team, digital data, tracking bank transactions, and expert testimony. In just a few days, the police arrested all the main suspects and brought the case to light. An unusually swift pace for a complex murder case. This investigation was not only a professional success, but also showcased the sharpness of Hong Kong's investigative system in a society increasingly threatened by sophisticated crimes with deep financial motives. The news of Abby Choi's gruesome death shocked the public in Hong Kong and across Asia. The online community mourned the tragic fate of a young, beautiful, and talented woman, killed by those who were once considered family. On social media, millions of condolences and expressions of outrage were shared everywhere. Abby's funeral took place in June 2023 at a large funeral home in Hong Kong. Family, friends, and thousands of fans came to bid farewell to her. Her current husband and children attended the funeral, visibly in pain. The image of her casket covered in white flowers, along with the tears shed, left everyone heartbroken. By May 2023, a total of 6 suspects had been charged and brought to trial at the Kowloon court. The trial attracted international media attention, with high security measures in place. Some suspects were held in detention without bail, while others were subject to strict conditions if granted bail, such as passport confiscation and 24-hour surveillance. The murder of Abby Choi serves as a cautionary tale about envy, greed, and the dark side of seemingly close relationships. Behind a glamorous life, there were simmering financial conflicts, and once envy crossed the line, tragedy became inevitable. Although Abby is no longer here, her story will live on as a heartbreaking symbol of innocence, trust betrayed, and of justice gradually being served.